Getting sworn in, I guess, or not?
I think it's virtual.
Okay. I thought we were gonna... Ready to start the meeting?
All right, do it. 1 and 3. Oh, you did it right? Okay.
Want to call to order January 5th, 2022, regular meeting. Please stand for the Pledge Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Bob Wilson,
Here.
Yolanda Cardona,
Here.
John Gill,
Here.
John Kennedy is absent, Bob Lloyd,
Here.
Jason Vlasic,
Here.
Nancy Rowland is absent, Attorney Adam Decker is absent, Engineer Ken Kraus is on the line, Councilman Brian, Councilman Liaison Brian Blazak is on the line. Don't see him. And Town Manager Chris Salas.
Present.
Okay, the next item on the list is election of officers. Do I have a motion for Plan Commission President?
I'll make a motion. We nominate John Kennedy for Plan Commission President.
I'll second that.
We have a motion for John Kennedy as president. Yolanda seconded it. Roll call, please.
Bob Wilson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Lloyd,
Yes.
Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion for vice president for Plan Commission?
I'll make a motion to nominate Bob Burleson for Vice President of the Plan Commission.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Bob Wilson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Lloyd,
Yes.
Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous. Do I have a motion for secretary for Plan Commission?
Is the secretary the last?
Donna. You want to do it?
Yes, yeah.
I'll make a motion to nominate Yolanda Cardona as Plan Commission Secretary.
I have a motion to elect Yolanda for secretary. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Bob Wilson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Lloyd,
Yes.
and Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
Okay, that was unanimous. Is there any other one? No?
We do need to do a swearing in.
Okay.
We have Deputy Clerk Treasurer Katie on virtual to do that.
Can I unmute her? No.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Is it on her end? Does she need to unmute?
Yeah, I don't think your microphone's working. Jason's coming.
We can't hear Katie.
Is she muted?
Doesn't show that she's muted.
Yeah. It's not on our end, right?
I mean, if she can hear us, the problem's on her end because
we're transmitting. I mean, Ken Kraus, can you hear us, Ken?
Can't hear him.
Can't hear him. Okay. So. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us? Testing, 1, 2.
Can we call Katie? Just get her, I mean, you can see her, right? At least
Yeah.
if she's on her- At least if she's on her phone,
Mm-hmm.
and you put a microphone up to her, she can swear in the members, and we can kind of move past this, if you can kind of work on the Ken Kraus thing as we go, but at least,
Yeah.
because we can't go anywhere without you guys getting sworn in.
Do you have her number?
I do not have Katie's number.
Could you see if she could text it to you
Yeah.
on the chat?
Can you hear us, or?
It sounds like they can hear us.
Chris. Is that it? Yeah.
Asked her for a number.
Okay, Katie, we're just gonna have to have you, we'll put this on speaker and we'll do it through the phone right now while we figure out. Okay, Jason, it's saying, Katie's telling me that Ken and her can hear each other, but we can't hear them. I'm gonna put you on speaker now. Okay, Katie.
Hi, sorry guys. I don't know if I can. I'm gonna mute that. Okay, is Robert Burleson in attendance too? That was the only one I didn't catch.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So, I guess we'll just go in order of what I have, if that's all right with you guys. You just have to repeat after me, if you're ready.
We're ready.
Okay. I, Robert Burleson.
I, Robert
upon
Burleson.
oath,
I, Robert Burleson, upon my oath,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge all my duties as a member of the Plan Commission
discharge all my duties as a member of the Plan Commission
of the Town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana,
of the Town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana,
to the best of my skill and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my skill and ability, so help me God.
Okay, yours is done. And then next we could do Yolanda Cardona.
I'm here.
Okay, same thing. I'll just try to repeat it as best as. Sometimes I go too fast on this, so I apologize. Okay, I, Yolanda Cardona, upon my oath, do solemnly swear
I, Yolanda Cardona, upon my oath, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge all my duties as a member of the Plan Commission
discharge all my duties as a member of the Plan Commission
of the Town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana,
of the Town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana,
to the best of my skill and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my skill and ability, so help me God.
Okay. Next would be John Gill.
Okay.
Okay. I, John Gill, upon my oath, do solemnly swear
I, John Gill, upon my oath, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge all my duties as a member of the Plan Commission
discharge all my duties as a member of the Plan Commission
of the Town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana,
of the Town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana,
to the best of my skill and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my skill and ability, so help me God.
Okay? Next would be Robert Valoy.
Go ahead.
Okay. I, Robert Valoy, upon my oath, do solemnly swear
I, Robert Valois, upon my oath, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge all my duties
discharge all my duties
as a member of the Plan Commission of the Town of St. John,
as a member of the Plan Commission of the Town of St. John,
Lake County, Indiana,
Lake County, Indiana,
to the best of my skill and ability,
to the best of my skill and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay, you're done. We have one more. Jason Vlasic.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't know if you guys are getting a feedback. I kind of am, so I was just trying to make sure I wasn't.
We are.
I'm ready.
I don't know what's going on. Okay, I, Jason Vlasic, upon my oath, do
I, Jason
solemnly
Vlasic,
swear
upon my oath, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge all my duties as a member of the Plan Commission
discharge all my duties as a member of the Plan Commission
of the Town of St. John,
of the Town of St. John,
Lake County, Indiana,
Lake County, Indiana,
to the best of my skill and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my skill and ability, so help me God.
Okay?
All right. Katie, can you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry, what?
Can you unmute your phone, please?
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You can?
Yep.
Oh, it figures now that it's done.
Ken,
It
can you,
wasn't gonna happen any other way.
I know. Okay, and then once I'm able to get back in, I will get a hold of you guys and have these signed. So
Ken,
I'm
can
gonna
you hear
sign
us?
off. Huh?
Ken Kraus, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and we can hear you. Good. Sorry about that.
All right.
So we good to move on to the next item?
Yes, I just want to note that Councilman Liaison Brian Blazak joined the meeting.
Okay.
Thanks, Sergio.
Okay, next item on the list is meeting minutes, December 1st, 2021, regular meeting. Since we just received those, I'd like to have a motion to defer.
I'll make the motion to defer the meeting minutes of December 1st, 2021.
Okay, I have a motion to defer December 1st, 2021, regular meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
A second.
Roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Rhonda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
No.
Bob Valois,
Yes.
and Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're gonna change the schedule of our meeting tonight. Let me see, I gotta find it. We're gonna start off with item F, the Gates of St. John, Unit 24, 25, 27, 28. Proposed preliminary primary plat for a 218 lot subdivision, approximately 200 feet southeast from the intersection of 101st and Lane Street.
Good evening, Commission members. Tim Kuiper here on behalf of Washington Kuiper Jositis, PC, representing LBL Development. Before you tonight is Units 24, part of 25, 27, and 28. The notices for this item, the publications, and the signs were posted and should all be compliant with your requirements. These two projects together are 218 lots. Per the settlement agreement as talked about last time, this is a reduction of approximately 70 lots from which was originally approved for this. It is an R2 PUD zoning district. This will be part of the HOA for the Gates East, not part of the main Gates project, but the Gates East. These two components finalize the overall plan for the Gates that's east of Klein. There is a stub connection to the south going towards 231 out of units 24 and 25, as previously recommended. Units 24 and 25 also includes well number 9. For the final plat, we will have to remove the area that is noted as well number 9 because we deeded that to the town at the town's request 2 weeks ago. So we'll have to take that out, but that is shown on there, and that property was dedicated to the town. Otherwise, Unit 27 and 28 from the last meeting was slightly revised. There was some lots that were 53 feet. Those were changed and moved around to 60. So they are all 60. And then some of the curvatures on the cul-de-sacs could not be clearly seen, so those were cleared up to show that those are 60 at the building line also. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. We've been over this before, but I am happy to answer them.
Tim,
Yes.
this is Brian Blazek. Is the HOA going to be responsible for the retention pond behind the development?
Any of the detention ponds in the development would be the requirement of the HOA.
Okay, so it is covered in the agreement somewhere along the line that the HOA will be responsible for maintenance.
Correct.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
If I may just ask, has Ken looked at this, and does he have any concerns? I don't know if he can hear me. He's online.
Yes, Ken has looked at both 24 and 25 separately from 27 and 28. There are some minor engineering notes. The biggest item was the requested waiver of the curb and sidewalk along Klein and along 101st. That would match the rest of Klein and the rest of 101st, the other side of the gates and things like that. But that's the biggest note. Otherwise, just little things that are normally done and then put on the final plat. And Ken can speak to that also when you ask him.
Attorney David, do you have any concerns or you want to make any comments with regards to this?
No, I think the reason I'm here is that my understanding is at your last meeting, or it may have been the November meeting, one of your last two meetings, the question was specifically asked what the zoning of this parcel, this 111 acres is. And I really kind of was asked to be here tonight to kind of answer that question and kind of give you a historical background on it. It is true that when it was annexed, it was a 4-1 vote to annex it as the PUD zoning, the R2 PUD zoning designation. We have an ordinance in town, and this was back in the fall of 2019. We have an ordinance in town that's, at the time and still do, that said if it wasn't a unanimous vote on the zoning, then it would be R1. So that presented a conflict because for about 3 or 4 months, and I'm taking a little bit of our artistic license here, it may have been longer, but there was a period of months before January 1st of 2020 where everyone acted as if it was R2 PUD, and upon the advice of council at the time, the attorney for the town council gave an opinion saying that the ordinance requiring unanimous consideration was invalid. So everybody went along believing until January 1st that this was zoned R2 PUD. At that time, when the current town council took office, and we were hired, we took a look at that issue, professionally disagreed with the previous legal opinion, and litigation was initiated, or continued to be initiated, I guess is a better way to put it. And one of the issues in that litigation was, what's the zoning of this 111 acres and what's the status of that ordinance that said it had to be unanimous? The Superior Court in Lake County ruled in our favor. However, an appeal was taken by the developer, and raising all the issues I just kind of brought up, the fact that they felt that ordinance requiring unanimous consent was not valid. They felt that and I don't want to, I'm generally describing a fairly complicated legal argument, but they were basically arguing that, hey, we were led to believe for 4 months by everyone at the town that this was R2 PUD, and now you're pulling the rug out from under us right when we're at the doorstep, and that's not fair. And under equitable principles, they were arguing that they should be allowed, even if it was R1, because everyone acted as if it was R2 PUD, that they should be allowed to go forward. So they took that appeal. The issue was fully briefed, and at the time, along with a myriad of other issues, the town entered into a settlement agreement with the developer where we agreed. So the issue of what was the zoning, I think at best described, was an open issue. And it was subject to a Court of Appeals decision, which has been stayed as a result of a settlement. And we agreed that it would be R2 PUD if certain parameters were met. And I think I have it here. The parameters were that the lots had to be developed with a lot width of 60 feet, and 90% of the lots shall have a minimum depth of 140 feet, and the property would maintain the R2 PUD zoning classification. It's paragraph 3 of the settlement agreement. And that, I will tell you that settlement agreement was the subject of 2 public meetings where folks were invited to comment on it or whatever, and there was quite a bit of comment about not only that provision, but other provisions in the agreement, and the council voted unanimously to approve that agreement. So at this point, because the council's the one, and I realize when there's a rezoning of a piece of property, it's normally initiated through, or at least starts at, initiate is not the right word. It starts, regardless of who initiates it, it starts at the Plan Commission and you folks get to weigh in. But ultimately, the council's the one that determines as a legislative body what the zoning is. So I think in this case, and actually I know Mr. Decker, after the last meeting, wrote an email to both myself, Mr. Blazek, Sergio, and Chris, as well as Mr. Kennedy as the president of the Plan Commission, where he reached the same conclusion I've reached, which is you can't enter into an agreement in good faith with a developer on a disputed issue and then turn around and say, well, yeah, we didn't mean it, right? So otherwise you're in breach of that agreement. So I think the only answer is that it's an R2 PUD zoning, and as long as these lots, and I would rely on Mr. Kraus and his expertise to tell us, and Sergio, did they meet these requirements of the 60-foot minimum lot width and 90% of the lots having a minimum depth of 140 feet, along with the other provisions of that R2 PUD zoning classification? And if they did, then I think at this point it becomes kind of ministerial for the Plan Commission. Now, the if they did part is an engineering question, though.
And Ken,
Yeah, Ken, can you reply to that statement that Attorney David just said about minimum lot width 60% of the lots 140 feet, and then there's a third one.
Yeah, it was 60-foot lot widths, 90% of the lots having a minimum depth of 140 feet.
90%.
And meeting the other parameters of the R2 PUD zoning classification.
Yeah, I can comment on the width, and they are all 60 feet after the revision that we received this afternoon, which eliminated one lot and added an outlot so that they could add some frontage to several lots right in the immediate area to be 60 feet from 53 feet. So those we did check, and those are all 60 feet lots now. I did not know about the requirement for having the 140-foot depth for 90% of the lots, but I could check that. But if you look on the plat, you will see that there are some very, very long lots, and I'm sure that they will probably make the 90% mark for 140 feet, but I will check it.
Tim, do you know if they do, if you meet that second part of the requirement?
I know that all of them meet the 60-foot requirement, is my understanding. I did not do the calculations myself, but it is my understanding that 90% of them do meet that 140-foot requirement.
And you could, theoretically, if you wanted to double check that requirement, you could make that a contingency of your findings tonight.
Yeah. Any of the members have any questions?
Bob, I just have another quick question for, I think the attorney mentioned something about so long as they meet the other parameters of the R2 PUD, what exactly are we referencing?
So all of those things would be like the house size requirements,
Gotcha.
any of the other underlying R2 requirements that are not altered by these other provisions.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't something that I wasn't aware of. Okay, got it.
And things like house size and things of that nature, they won't get building permits if they don't meet those.
Right.
So,
Any other questions? Okay, this is a public hearing. I'll check to see if anybody signed in.
I could have gotten it for a while ago.
First on the list is Nick Chronocrack. Nick, please state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Nick Cernacrack. I live at 10656 Bell Street in Crown Point, which is the Greenacre Estates, which is adjacent to Unit 25
Okay.
on this. I visited the Lake County surveyors and so forth, and so I want to make you aware of that besides the property lines that's on the Greenacre Estate subdivision, there's also an outlot that the subdivision owns. That no one in particular owns it, but the entire subdivision owns it. And that extends beyond the property lines that are currently there right now. So it is an outlot. So the outlot is like I said, outside the regular property lines and ranges from 3 feet to almost 9 feet in width on the west side of the Greenacre Estates subdivision. According to the documents you have there, it doesn't look as though that outlot is accurately represented. I purchased a copy of the Greenacre Estates subdivision that shows the outlot very clearly on here, along with the lines. So in your investigation, I hope you investigate with respect to this outlot that the subdivision as a whole owns. The second point, elevation, flooding, and chemicals. There's a significant elevation difference between the Gates East subdivision and the Greenacre Estates subdivision. Currently, when it rains, the water from the Gates East property significantly floods many areas of the Greenacre Estates subdivision. I have photographs that I will provide you of the flooding that occurs right now. The plan for the Gates East will have significant impervious surfaces put in place. This will only exacerbate the runoff water situation. Members of the Planning Commission, what is your plan to ensure that flooding will not occur to the Green Acres Estates subdivision? Please note that we're concerned due to how the flooding issues were handled on Mr. Gazowski's property to the east. Every home within the Greenacre Estates subdivision is on well and septic. As such, the property owners are concerned about the health and welfare of their drinking water and their septic systems due to runoff water and chemicals that can be carried from the Gates East property to the Greenacre Estates properties. The water and chemicals may potentially contaminate our drinking water and affect our health. Automotive chemicals, pesticides, fertilizers, etc. Please note that several property owners have been working with the Lake County Health Department with respect to our sampling our wells currently. Safety, security, and separation. Due to the significant open areas of the properties within the Greenacre Estates subdivision, the residents are concerned about people trespassing on our properties. Many Greenacre Estates property owners have expressed these concerns in prior St. John Town Hall meetings. A town council member left me a voicemail stating that Mr. Lawton verbally expressed to him that Mr. Lawton would be happy to erect a fence on the Gates East property to separate his homes from the Greenacre Estates properties amid our concerns. The Greenacre Estates property owners kindly request that Mr. Lawton, being an honorable man, put that in writing. That's what I have for you, other than if you want this plat, I'd be happy to give that to you, along with a lot of photos of the flooding in the subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, or next person, Dan, Kecca.
Is this about the comments? Can I count them?
No, it's about Gates, St. John unit.
One comment.
Tom Gill.
That would be also, want to speak about the comments.
Okay. Don Casper.
Yes.
You want to speak about this, the Gates? Okay. Jara Lucas.
No comments.
Okay. Anybody? Well, I'll just go through it. Felton. Carl Madsen. Art Ramez? No. Okay. Anybody in the audience that wants to speak? Please come on up. Please state your name and your address for the record.
Leonard Barman, 7910 West 109th Avenue, Crown Point. I represent the adjoining property owner to the south. I have a list of 4 requests that I'd like to make of the board. Could I present
Yes.
those to you?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
We also own the 20 acres on the west side of Klein where development has already occurred, so some of these requests are based on experiences we've already had. In particular, the first, the temporary fencing along the length of the property line while it's under development. In the past, on the previous 20 acres, we've had to have trash collected off of there before we could plant our property, and that's not very conducive to try to chase someone down to clean the property off when we're on a schedule to get it planted, and the schedule is based on nature. The next request would be a permanent 6-foot privacy fence, the length of the entire half a mile. That to keep out pedestrian motorized trespassers along with, from coming onto the property along with debris. We request that the HOA maintains that fence. Also a note that NIPSCO owns the right-of-way in the town. We own the right-of-way on our property. NIPSCO has an easement to access that. And as such, they would have to make a request to have that fence taken down, and they would have to cover the cost as access to the property, just like they have to pay crop damage when they access the property. So we need a contiguous fence. The third concern is a guarantee to make sure that we have field drain tiles that were installed in 1950. That was a joint project with the Department of Agriculture. We have crop quotas that we'll have to maintain. If we are flooded out by water not draining off our property, we'll come back to the town of St. John for liability. So we want to make sure that that water is carried through. Final request is we'd like some kind of notification to the prospective buyers, potentially something noted in the HOA documentation, that Indiana is a right to farm state, and we have the right to put livestock on that property, and may do that in the future. So we want those property owners to understand they have no legal standing to come against us if I decide to put cattle out on there, or if I decide to put hogs out there. I had a couple questions. One was addressed earlier with regard to the annexation and how we came to that density, because I don't recall being in any public meetings. I do remember one feisty one, and then I know it went to litigation. I do have a question about where the current farmhouses are, and it looks like there's a knockout there of 350 or 360 feet that's on Klein Avenue. I'd like to understand what the future plans are for that. Because as a subdivision, as I see it laid out, I don't see any way how you're going to bring any water and sewer to that property. I don't know if anyone can speak to that.
Yeah, but I have no idea what that future use is gonna be.
Well, based on the information I've got, that didn't seem to be a different property ID. That's what we had discussed earlier. So I was just curious how that, since it's not a unique property ID, what it was going to actually be done, since it's not included in the subdivision, nor is it its own property.
Yeah.
That was my concerns.
Okay,
Please,
thank you. Thank you,
please
sir.
address them if you can.
Anyone else that hasn't signed in want to come up and speak to the Plan Commission? Anyone online? Hearing none, I'm gonna,
Mr. Brosen, we do have an email that was received today.
okay.
I can read that if you'd like.
Yes, please.
We received an email today at 2:30 PM from James Gertz. He writes, "Please submit this following statement of public comment during the Plan Commission meeting this evening. My name is James Gertz, and due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I am unavailable to attend today in person. I live at 7715 West 101st Avenue, Crown Point, which is just north of the new development portion of the Gates of St. John on the east side of Klein Avenue. I have concerns with the amount of stormwater that will be generated in the existing and new development of the Gates of St. John. The existing development, the Magnolia Gates, have a small retention pond that will be in during the development of those cottage homes. When it rains, the pond often overflows and floods my backyard. This has been an ongoing issue for years, yet there has been no resolution to it. This dates back to multiple discussions with Steve Gill and Bob Farzan years ago, to which they stated that there was a tile that they were going to connect to the pond. This had no impact on the issue. Now the Gates of St. John is waiting to develop units 24, 25, 27, and 28, which will further exacerbate the ongoing problem. This year, as a new development has been ongoing to the south of my property, which is also part of the Gates of St. John development, I have witnessed increased flooding in my backyard, which has remained wet even longer than previous years. I also have to deal with the washed-in corn stalks, bean stubble, and soil erosion from the water flow. It creates a lot of dust when I am able to mow the grass due to all this runoff. But even mowing during the wet season is very tough due to the ground staying waterlogged and extended periods of time. The grass in my backyard is now dying out due to the longer time that the water is sitting on it. The runoff is also causing substantially more weeds. I have a lawn service spray the weeds, but when it is too wet, they cannot spray the backyard. All of this severely hinders the enjoyment and use of our own property. I would assume that development would have a stormwater pollution prevention plan in place to prevent this. This needs to be evaluated as it causes unintended consequences on the surrounding areas. I am concerned with the roads and the numerous houses that are being added will further increase the storm and water runoff running through the pools and pooling on my property. The amount of land and soil that would absorb the rain is obviously being greatly reduced due to this development. My property has a natural slope to the east. When you dig a pond and it overflows, that is not a natural flow of water, taking all the storm water that would typically be greatly absorbed into the ground and discharging it into one place is not natural. So the overflows of the ponds in the subdivision be discharged into a county ditch or waterway, or should they be addressed with a subdivision through their stormwater pollution prevention plan? Additionally, the existing pond in Magnolia Gates is an eyesore. Trees, tall weeds, and grass have all caused it to collect garbage, plastic bags, and other debris. The tree roots were further plugged the drain tiles that is reported to be in place. Algae growth in the pond and it is in place for mosquitoes to breed. No maintenance is being done to address any of these issues. I would like to know who is in charge of doing maintenance of this pond and the other ponds in the development. If the other added retention ponds will be maintained like this, we will have further issues as the development progresses. The vacant lot to the east of my property also is not being maintained, with all the tall grass and trees, corn stalks, and other debris that gets washed and stuck on my property. This further stops the flow of water moving to get to the ditch on 101st Avenue and Blaine Street. Some of this ditch, I understand, is the town of St. John's responsibility, and the rest is the responsibility of Lake County. Blaine Street floods over the ditch and crosses under the road, which is likely to lead to accident at some point. This ditch is not sufficient for the amount of rainwater that flows into it. It overflows, and when it is full, the water just backs up onto these properties, including mine. I have a septic field that must be protected, as I do not have St. John utilities. The pooling of this water on my property encroaches that septic field at times, and I fear that if it gets worse, I'm going to have a major issue with it. Who will be responsible for damage to my septic field should this happen? All these water issues leave my backyard unusable during the wet seasons, and it is not right, as I should have a reasonable right to enjoyment of my private property. I should not be negatively impacted by the interference of stormwater from developments where the developers are profiting while I must manage the negative impact. While this water situation is my main concern, I also have concerns for the traffic impact from further development of the gates of the St. John subdivision. Traffic on 101st Avenue has gotten so heavy that it is often difficult for my family to even get out of the driveway. The roads were not created to handle this level of traffic, and we must now deal with this consequence. With the addition of these 2 units along the proposed numerous additional developments in the subdivision and general area, the problem is going to get worse. Traffic on US 231 has gotten so bad that many cars come the extra mile north to travel on 101st Avenue and Joliet Street, which increases the amount of traffic on my road. I implore the town to consider this when approving additional developments like this. We are adding so many homes and developments that St. John is quickly losing its charm and attracted to so many here. I would like to have the town consider all these points as it votes on these developments of units 24, 25, 27, and 28, and I welcome further discussion with the town so that a reasonable solution can be achieved for the existing and future water issues. Sincerely, Jamie Gertz. That's all that we received for today.
Okay, thank you. So, yep.
If I could address a couple of those comments real quick. As to the Green Acres subdivision to the east, there will be a significant reduction of the sheet flowing of water that is currently there before the development occurred, and that will be done once it's completed. We're going from about 30 acres that is currently sheet flowing. That'll all be stopped except for the very rear yards of
Hold
the
on one
lots of
second.
joisting.
I don't think let me close public hearing.
Oh.
Close public hearing. Go ahead, Tim, sorry.
So approximately 30 acres is currently sheet flowing into the Green Acres subdivision. That'll be stopped by the engineering that was approved, and once it's done and designed, it'll only be literally the rear yards of those lots adjoining that would have any ability, and it won't sheet flow like it does with an open farm field. Secondly, the Magnolia Pond will be tied into the entire system now that is going to be the east gates, so the issues there should be resolved also. Between Green Acres and the subdivision here, there is a privacy fence that's going to be installed, and that was pursuant to the settlement agreement that was agreed to between the town and the developer. So that will be done, again, between the Green Acres subdivision and this project. Any tiles that are cut during development of units 24 and 25 to the south there for Mr. Barman's property, those have to be tied into the stormwater system at that time and will be done so. Yes, I think I got it all. And you can ask Ken about the stormwater, but again, it's designed for the project to capture, to hold, and then release at an allowable rate as approved by the town.
Yeah, I would like to interject on that point. Mr. Barman came forward with some documents from like the 1950s or whenever that field tile was put in. And it was very, very helpful with us, for us to have those so that we could see where it was located and what size the pipes were. And where the field tile crosses the property line between Mr. Barman's property and the Gates property, it is a 10-inch diameter storm sewer, which has been tied into a 24-inch storm sewer, which becomes eventually a 36-inch storm sewer that dumps into the detention basin between units 21 and 22. After it leaves that detention basin, it flows northward through a 24-inch opening into this new detention basin for units 27 and 28, where it is restricted to a 15-inch pipe that dumps to Mr. Gertz's property. So all that property, all that drainage that used to come through there unchecked, as you heard in his email, he complained about the flotsam from the field, including corn husks and other debris from the farming that took place there. That's not going to happen anymore because it won't be farmed anymore. But it all has to go through that one 15-inch pipe to leave that detention basin. So other than the basin overflowing, everything will go from the Magnolia Gates detention basin, which dumps into this new proposed basin, and everything goes out through a 15-inch pipe.
Okay, thanks, Ken.
Oh, and the question about that big square lot there in 24 and 25, that was on my list of things to have done. It's an extension of the storm sewer that's on, can't read it right now. I think it's Blaine Place, though. Both the water and the sewer line needs to run a line over to that big lot. And they could either do it at the south end or they could do it up at the eyebrow corner cul-de-sac. They could extend it there to the property. So that was on the list of things to do.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Want to bring it back to the board? Any questions for Tim or for Ken?
I do have a question about the intersections of Blaine Place and 101st Avenue and also Morse Place and 101st. Blaine Place shows deacceleration and acceleration lanes, and I've asked for a detail of that intersection to find out if there's also left turn lanes going to go in there, but I don't see that at the Morse Place intersection with 101st. So I don't know if the Plan Commission wants to have decel, accel, and left turn lanes at both of these or just the one.
Ken, my recollection is those were based off the recommendations of Denny, Cobb, and First Group that we submitted along with the original engineering for the middle section, along with the Klein Avenue improvements, also the 101st improvements. And my recollection was that the Blaine Place required decel where the Morse did not. And we can look at that again, and if it's in there, then it needs to be put in there. If not, then it would be fine as is.
Yeah, I would go along with First Group's recommendation. They are the experts in this area.
And you believe it's just turn or decel lanes,
Correct.
not turn lanes?
Correct. On Klein, there were turn lanes, but not on 101st.
But there is decel lanes at the Morse Place.
Correct.
Okay.
But no turn,
Yeah.
from the opposite direction, no
Right.
turn lane. But just
Decel for both,
Correct.
lane and the other street. Okay.
Well, right now, Morse Place doesn't show decel lanes. At least I can't discern them. That's why I asked for an intersection detail for both of those intersections.
Well, I would say being on that curve right there, it should have them. That would be my opinion.
Well, that one does.
That curve, I live right down the road from it.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. And, I can make a case for left turn lanes in there too, as was stated earlier. They're having trouble getting out of their driveways onto Joliet or 101st. This would help.
Yeah. I'm definitely, I've always harped about that, turn lanes and DXL lanes, and because eventually you'll need them. Maybe not now, but let's plan it and put them in.
Tim, what'd you say about the curb and sidewalk here?
So we were asking for a waiver of the curb and sidewalk along 101st, at least for those larger areas, and then also along Klein. That's consistent with the other middle part of the project that was previously approved, and then with the gates to the west side of Klein Avenue. So it's consistent there. There is, again, a bike trail that'll go along the NIPSCO right-of-way, basically, that connects in an east-westerly fashion through the part that was previously approved, then hits that NIPSCO line and then goes upwards and then takes that angle along the pipeline route that will ultimately go up to Cherville eventually. So there's still connectivity for bicycles and things, and then over to the gates itself on the west side.
Can you say that again about the waiver for the curb and gutter and sidewalks on 101st?
Only on 101st and on Klein. Not internally or anything else. Obviously, that it's got to capture the water and do all those things, hold the road together, internal sidewalks for pedestrian and circulation.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve, deny, or defer the Gates of St. John, Unit 24, 25, 27, 28. If you make a motion to approve, then we'll need a contingency for Ken Kraus to check on the 140-foot depth, 90% of the lots, and a
Also,
waiver.
a lot of engineering and clerical things on the checklist that haven't been addressed yet.
Say that again, Ken?
I
Engineering?
have some engineering concerns and clerical things on the checklist that haven't been addressed yet. So it's more than just checking the plat for 140-foot depths.
If I could suggest, it'd be compliance with the engineering review list and any corrections on there.
So again, looking for a motion to approve, deny, or defer. If you approve, then the engineering and the plat, 140-foot depth on 90% of the lots, and waiver for curb and gutter and walks on 101st and Klein.
That we approve the primary plat for the Gates of St. John, Unit 24, 25, 27, 28, contingent upon all the engineering review and things that need to be checked being in order. However, I would not like to issue the waiver for sidewalks and curb along Klein or 101st.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve Gates of St. John, Unit 24, 25, 27, 28, contingent on engineering review of the plat and the engineering documents, drawings, but not a waiver for curb and gutter and sidewalks on 101st and Klein. Do I have a second?
Can I just ask for, Can I just ask that the engineering review list compliance would also include any recommendations of your traffic safety engineer first group?
Okay.
I'll amend my motion to include them meeting any requirements from the traffic engineering from first group as well.
Were you accepting the waiver for curbs?
No.
Right, you did say that, right?
I said, yeah, no waiver.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way I heard it was that the engineering review list compliance, which would include the first group, traffic safety issues that have been raised, but that the motion did not include a waiver for the curbs and sidewalks on 101st and Klein.
That's
Is that
correct.
accurate?
Yep.
I'll second that, Bob.
Yolanda seconded. Roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valoy,
Yes.
Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
5-0, approval. Yeah, we're gonna go back in order. Item A, St. John Commons, proposed rezone to PUD for mixed-use development of approximately 10 paired villa homes, 10, go ahead.
Is everything in order? Can I confirm that? Since for this, we were deferred for the last time relative to publication notices.
Yes, everything's in order. The public hearing is, requirements have been met.
Okay, thank you. I'm Nick Georgiou with Sumac, Griffith, Indiana, and the architect, Nathan Biss is the attorney for the client, and the clients are also present here tonight. I want to first of all, thank the Plan Commission. Over the last 11 months, we've been working this project through with you. We met with staff initially back in February. We've continued to refine and hopefully come up with a solution that, and an excellent project that's going to be acceptable to this town, and we think it will be an excellent project. This is a 20-acre PUD for rezoning up tonight. I'll ask Sergio if he'd pull up the master plan, so at least the audience can somewhat follow along. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what the project involves. This is a 20-acre site located off of Calumet Avenue and just south of 101st. The west half of the project, which fronts on Calumet, is zoned commercial to the west. The north property line of this development is split evenly between, there's residential R2 to the east half and C2 to the west half. And then we have a significant green space easement and approximately 280 feet of green space conservation area in areas that we cannot develop that will definitely set aside and buffer this from the residential to the south. On the east of the property, that is also zone R2 where we abut relative to that. The project basically is three phases, or three phases, all it is. There's two retail buildings that come off of a boulevard entrance off of Calumet. There are two flanking retail centers of approximately 13,000 square feet on either side. They then transition into a lifestyle live-work center, which has about 12,000 square feet of lifestyle office and retail with 10 condominiums above. The east half of the property, which is also just abuts residential only, is residential, is what we're proposing. This evolved into a 10-unit, 20 total units, 10 buildings, villas that we propose on the east end of the property. We are providing landscape berming and screening from the adjacent residential area. We are connecting, make sure I always get these streets right. Blue Sky Drive is the street that stubs into the property to the northeast. We will continue that as a public right-of-way and into a looped Green Island spaced area that the villa units would be around. We have also proposed that this be a retention pond, not detention. It'll hold water. We're looking at a water feature. The condominiums, which are above the live-work area, their entrances and their facing areas faces to the east, so actually all the residential components are facing on the east half, and they abut residential areas also. We do have a road that butts, or that literally does abut our property at the far southwest, which is Red Rock Place. We are proposing just a dead-end cul-de-sac there, and there'll be 2 single-family lots there. As part of the green space improvements, we're extending the bike path, which exists at the east end and also runs across the east backside of Greystone to the south of us. But we're extending it across in that green space all the way to Calumet, with the intent, hopefully, that in the future, St. John could connect that farther west, supposedly, also. We also have proposed a segregated area where there's a gazebo at the sort of a end point there at Calumet Avenue where it abuts there. In the submittal, well, we have a complete landscape plan. We're looking at this being an upscale on the residential side. The villas that are being proposed are 3-sided masonry with basements. And the owner developer has a history of an upscale retail project. We recently did one in Cedar Lake that we sort of based this on. I think there's definitely interest on providing and embellishing and providing commercial to the west side of St. John. And as I said, this property does abut commercial areas currently where the commercial parts of this project are. That's sort of the brief overview. I'll ask Nathan. Nathan's presented all the PUD agreements and maybe give a brief overview from that perspective.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. I want to echo Nick's comments. Appreciate the dialogue that we had over the past several months. Very much appreciate it. A couple items just want to briefly touch on. One is the maintenance of this particular space. As Nick pointed out, at the very beginning, we have a transition from retail to mixed use to residential, and there's a lot of green space also that you see on the screen, as well as a lot of blue space. And a question has come up in the past as to how will that be maintained? And what we have prepared and outlined in the PUD, as well as even beyond that, is there's going to be an association that's going to govern the villas. There's going to be an association that governs the condominium units, as well as there's going to be covenants that are going to govern the retail space. All of those are going to contribute to maintain the blue space as well as the green space to preserve and maintain the heightened value that we anticipate is going to be created there. The other item I just want to touch on briefly is right in the middle is the concept of a mixed use space. And that is a fairly newer concept here to Northwest Indiana. It's one that we've seen in Munster. It's one that we've seen in Valparaiso. And it's one that we'd like to introduce into this area, and we think very much fits the flow of transition from business into the residential theme. One of the items I mentioned at last month's meeting is I've seen several developers approaching us, even in Cedar Lake. I mentioned I'm the Redevelopment Commission president there, and we've had folks come to us just in the last 2 months excited about that concept that they see here and wanting to implement that there as well. So from an interest perspective, we very much see there's a lot of interest governing that concept. Sergio, if we want to briefly take us back then to the PUD. Just from, as we look at the PUD, just from a timing perspective, provided that we receive approval this evening and continuing forward, it's my client's intention to break ground much later this spring. It's the intention to focus immediately on the villas. We anticipate perhaps by the end of the summer into the fall that we could have that ready for development and construction, as well as continuing with moving of ground on the live workspace and the commercial commons area, having structures ready for this fall yet, and then continuing and finalizing in 2023, contingent upon the availability of materials, things of that nature. What you see there on the screen is just a brief overview of what is within your PUD. Just briefly, you see use and bulk restrictions, purpose of declaration, and property subjected to permitted uses and limitations of use. Every single drawing that you have seen is submitted and included as part of this packet. That's very much been intentional on behalf of my clients, because we've provided a vision to you and the town and to the neighbors, and it's our intention to continue with that. You will also see great specificity as to the type of business use that can be permitted in these locations, as well as the specificity as to what cannot be put within the retail and commercial spaces. And again, that's with great intentionality to preserve the value for both the neighbors as well as for the property itself. Again, what you're going to see within the PUD is minimum front yard, side yard, rear yard height standards. We also have significant signage requirements. We've submitted to you the proposed signage that's going to be within the development, both in the residential and on the retail sign. As Nick has enunciated, we have significant landscaping that is going to be throughout the entirety of the development. And then we've also outlined the sort of lighting, utility services that are going to be provided. Any questions?
I have one question. There was some discussion about the sign on Caveman Avenue, the size, and was that ever resolved?
We submitted Monday, after the study session, we submitted updated information. And after further evaluating the sign ordinance, St. John sign ordinance, it actually allows a ground sign per retail center. And basically, the way we've structured the site is with where you, well, it's not, well, he has a sign up, but in terms of the site, you come in, there's a retail center to the left, there's a retail center to the right. By our interpretation, we're allowed one ground sign per each. And then as you transition to the live work, actually those are two symmetrical split units, and each of those has 5 retail tenant spaces on left and right. So we've interpreted that as those are 2 retail centers, and so we have 2 smaller ground signs proposed. And then there's a monument sign at the villas, which is off of the residential entrance. I will point out that the 2 ones on Calumet exceed the sign face area by about 15 square feet, I believe. It was allowed as 50, and we're at 69, it looks like. And we were asked to calculate the sign face. And we exceed the height, so that's statement. On the live work one, we match the sign face area, we meet the sign face area, but we are 2 foot higher than the height limit. The Villa Monument sign conforms in all aspects. So the 4 monuments, the quantity we believe conforms to the ordinance, but they are at variance on the height and the area at the front and the height at the middle.
And one item to that Nick and I discussed is recognizing that there's a slight deviation from the height and size requirement. It's our anticipation, as it already is on the plan, that this is complemented by abutting landscaping, by trees on either side, so it's not like it's going to stick out of some sort of pedestal. It's going to fit in with the landscaping that will be in the area.
Any questions from the Plan Commission? Thanks, John. Okay, hearing none, this is a public hearing. I want to open up the public hearing. First person on the list, Nick Cronacrack. Is he here? He might have left. Dan, K-E-C-A.
Good evening. My
Please.
name is Dan Keka, K-E-C-A, and
Your address, please.
14200 Onyx Way. And if I could ask to get a picture of the meandering bike path, please.
It's up there. It's on the screen.
Yeah, I know, but you can't see it very
How
well.
about that one?
It's better, but I don't think they're going to have that many trees and things there at that time. But the reason why I'm here tonight, I represent 7 homeowners that abut that property where the bike path's going to be. All right. That's what we're talking about, is the bike path, the meandering part of it. We all signed a petition here about the path should be located closer to the next northern easement and return to the straight path instead of the meandering design. We feel the meandering design at the southern edge gets awful close to the properties, 2 of our properties especially. And I'd just like some consideration about maybe moving that farther north to match up with the straight, which you can't see on there too well, by the two cottage homes there. So it would be one straight bike path instead of a meandering one. Reason why I say that we've lived there 3 years, originally was a cornfield and it just turned into a field. We've had all types of different things there, snowmobiles, small RV, AVs, or whatever they call those things, going through there. People with their dogs not on leashes, all right? I've been chased up to my property by a dog on not a leash, so I'd prefer, and we would prefer to have that path as far north as we could possibly get it so we could eliminate some of those things. And believe it or not, somebody that's walking on that path, we could probably hear in our back door because it's so quiet there. It's just that the sound travels, so just a couple of those things to keep in mind, so we might get some consideration about moving that back to when originally I saw was the drawing was going to be parallel to our property.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Next person on the list, Tom Gill. Take your time.
It's Tony Gill.
Tony Gill, okay.
13979 Golden Grove Avenue, Dyer, Indiana. It's the Silverleaf subdivision that I guess is adjacent to this proposal. And as a resident of, I think, 15 or 16 years here, and I guess I'm late to the game. I guess it's a done deal. I just didn't know this is the direction the town was going as a product of the south suburbs in Illinois, with the condos over the, I guess, what are you calling the workspaces, surrounded by two storefronts. You know, the property values in Illinois and as the bordering of state line have, drop as you can't find people to fill those. And I do understand that I guess there's permits of folks that can be in them. I'm assuming at some point they could just come here and propose a change. And it sounds like you guys would be open to that, or another personnel as time goes on, 10, 15 years down the road. Just like that area's getting, we have a gun shop now over there. I don't know if that was ever in a proposal of a meeting such as this or a board of you. There's obviously a number of gas stations and, different areas. It's just kind of, not getting to be the best, I guess, area for, an increase in property value. I understand that Cedar Lake and Munster have this as well. I just did not know this is the direction that the town was going, and that is my concern, living in the area that, on paper right now it looks great, but, what stores are going to end up there? The condos maybe will eventually become rentals. I know that in the proposal it won't happen, it says. But, as we change from residential to commercial, anyone could propose a change and come in and make those changes. Along with, there's storefront, I believe, commercial property at south of this, at the Greystone entrance, which that's always been commercial, and I understood that, living there. And now what storefronts are going to move there? We have these and then those, a whole area of storefronts with, various mixers, matches coming and going, restaurant areas is a concern of me and some of my residents that live in Silverleaf as well. So I appreciate taking the time and letting me put that on record. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, Don Casper. Next person is Lucas. Okay. Dan Felton. I am not sure if that's but Felton is the last name. Okay. Carl Madsen. Art Ramez. Looks like Jeff. I can't. R something. Anybody in the audience that wants to speak that hasn't signed up? You already spoke, sir.
Can I ask a question on that?
You already spoke, sorry.
Yes. Do I need to come up here?
Yes, please. Please state your name and address.
Doug Davis, 10325 White Sand Lane in Dyer. I had a question, really kind of depending upon what Dan Keka said. Our back lot, our back doesn't face the north as his does. It does face the east. There is currently a path out there right now that stops, and I'm wondering where the continued path then will be going, and hopefully it won't be moving closer to our residents. I have the same concern that Dan was talking about. So I don't know if that's changed or not in the plans, or if you could show me where, from the east side, where that would be going down the hill to join up.
Sir, once you're finished, then he'll come back up. We'll
Okay.
close the public hearing, but.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep, thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yep, come on up.
Hi, my name's Sandy Phelan. I live 14220B Onyx Way, so I am right on the bike path. So my concern is the bike path is very close. It's the same as Dan Keka's, but who's going to take care of and maintain the bike path? Who maintains all that landscaping and cleans it and cuts it and trims it and
They said their HOA was gonna handle that.
which HOA?
There was
Which
three
HOA?
different ones.
So-
Once you're finished speaking, they'll can come back up and address the concerns.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else that wants to speak? That hasn't? Anybody online? Hearing none, I'm gonna close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, we have a few that were received via email.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And I think you may have received a few of them back in July when an article ran in the newspaper. They may or may not be pertinent, but we advise the the people filing these remonstration emails that we will not be able to read them until we have a public hearing.
Okay.
So I'll begin with the most recent one we received, and that works from there, from the date. This one is from Kelly Langmeyer. This was received December 1st. She writes, my husband and I reside at 10224 Rolling Meadows Lane, Dyer, Indiana, 46311. Due to work conflicts, we are unable to, turn on my mic. We are unable to attend this meeting on the subject of a rezoning property known as 10201 Calumet Avenue. In December of 2011, we purchased it and reside on a single-family home property adjacent to the property, which is subject of this meeting. Let it be known that both of us, Alan Langmeyer and Kelly Langmeyer, strongly oppose any changes to the current property zone of R1. Like I said, that was received December 1st. The one that was received prior to that was on July 12th from Elizabeth Farrell. I understand that someone is planning to make Red Rock Place a through street going north into a business district. I am sending this email to protest of this project. We live on a peaceful street and do not want through traffic coming through. Please consider this plea as you plan this venture. Please have consideration for the residents on this block. Thank you. Elizabeth Farrell, 10367 Red Rock Place. The one received after that, or prior to that, was on July 16th from Michael Christoph. Writes, Dear Mr. Sergio Mendoza, as per our phone conversation on Tuesday, July 13, 2021, I have attached a copy of the petition we discussed. The residents of Red Rock Place and Greystone do not want Red Rock Place to be extended to connect to the proposed St. John Commons development north of us. We are in favor of Red Rock Place ending in a cul-de-sac as proposed by the developer. We feel that connecting Red Rock Place to St. John Commons makes it a through street and would increase traffic dramatically and make it dangerous to the residents, as well as have a negative impact on our property values. To date, we have 51 signatures on this petition. This is every single resident within, with the exception of 3 homes where the residents are currently on vacation. There is not one resident who is in favor of Red Rock Place being extended. As we discussed, we'd like you to read and share a copy of our petition and this email with every member of the Plan Commission at the upcoming study session meeting and then the members of the Town Council. Please respond to this email letting me know that you have received it and that you will be sharing both the email and petition as requested. Please feel free to contact either my wife or myself should you have any questions or require anything further from us. Sincerely, Mike and Chris Christoph at 10343 Red Rock Place. And I believe you may have received this information back in July with the packet and the petition that was signed. The other item, or the other email received was on July 2nd from John Mullen. He said, "Hi Sergio, my name is John Mullen. I live on Red Rock Place in the Greystone Development. My neighbors and I are concerned that at the last Plan Commission meeting on 6/16, there was discussion of connecting the road from Red Rock Place to the new St. John Commons development. This last site plan has a cul-de-sac, but some planning members wanted a road connecting the 2 developments instead. We hope that this is not going to be the next site plan. It's not going to be onto the next site plan, and wish to voice our concerns. That would add considerable more traffic and would be a safety concern. We hope we would be able to express our concerns before the change is done, and we would be advised that the next plan is presented to be able to do that. Please contact me when this is being reviewed. Thank you." That's John Mullen at 10319 Red Rock Place. The last one we have is dated from July 2nd. It's a handwritten letter that was mailed. Unfortunately, the individual did not identify themselves, so I don't believe we are able to read it into the record. Yeah, they just signed a thank you, residential property owner. So unfortunately, we won't be able to read that into record because they did not identify themselves. So.
Okay, thanks, Sergio. Now I'll close the public hearing.
I can reply to, I noted all the comments. There seem to be 2 grouping of them relative to the bike path. As the evolution of this particular project, that bike path's been in different locations. That final location would be subject to primary plat and engineering, and we're definitely open to locating it where it's agreeable to the neighbors adjacent to the south. The comment that was made, I wasn't initially aware that the actual bike path, which comes in to the east there, I didn't realize that actually is going to be extended on the east side of Greystone, so whether that has actually been built, I don't believe it has, but I understand, at least from Schilling Development, that that bike path's going to extend all the way down the east side of Greystone, and then we're just picking it up across to Calumet. We're completely open to segregating it, moving it, but wherever it's agreeable to the adjacent property owners. On the second item, which I know we went through various iterations of connections, interconnections within the development. I think where we ended up, seemed to be agreeable to everyone. We absolutely agree with dead-ending Red Rock Place, making a cul-de-sac. There's no other connection. And we did the same actually on Blue Sky, where that residential road just loops back and just goes into residential. There is no interconnection from the residential over into the commercial area. Nathan? Well, you can talk about the maintenance and the maintenance.
No, you absolutely capture everything. Just the one item that I would add with the bike path is one of the items that we've discussed internally is that just to keep it straight almost creates an Autobahn type atmosphere, and the goal here is a more leisurely strolling arena, but we certainly appreciate the comments that we've heard tonight as well as in previous meetings. As far as the landscape maintenance, again, that's a key item that we've taken into account with the PUD. Each of the sections that you have there, the front half, the middle half, and the back half, each is going to contribute to initially the developer, but eventually the St. John Commons area, maintaining that green space that's underneath the transmission towers, the green space that is all along that bike path, as well as the blue space. That is all going to be continuously maintained, again, to preserve the value. Each of those groups is going to contribute to it. And then just last item that I would touch on, again, looking to the future, long-term, the exterior of the villas is going to be all brick except for the back, and then the size of the condos, again, we discussed internally, those could be created smaller to add more to those spaces, but again, we're trying to create condominiums that are in excess of 2,000 square feet, again, to preserve that value long-term, and it's our anticipation, just looking at rough numbers, you're looking at initial value for those is upwards of 400 or more, so there's significant value to those condominiums units just starting off, especially with their size and what's going to be inside of them. So,
Can you elaborate on, or just say what the value of the paired villas are? How much are those?
yeah, so the paired villas, and I'm going to have to talk to the client, or
He raised his hand, so.
Give me the signal. Well, initially, we said at a minimum, these were based upon a development that was successfully completed in Sherrville. Was it Waterford?
Yes.
I keep getting the names wrong. And we stated in this meeting that these were at least 350,000 and up. Brad's indicating to me that we're in the 400,000 and up on this in particular.
Yeah.
I do want to clarify, because there's comments made only because we put this one up. The official landscaping plan, including blow-up areas of all the areas around the signs, et cetera, are in the detailed drawings. This is not the official landscape plan. There's multiple landscape plans that are submitted that depict the entire with Plat characteristics, sizing, the whole 9 yards. There's blow-ups where the signs are. There's blow-ups of the different areas in the villas, et cetera, and including where the bike path area is.
I think you had it.
I just wanted to address Sandy's, I'm
Identify
sorry, Brad Lambert, St. John Commons LLC, the developer. I just want to address Sandy's concern earlier specifically. I think what she may be getting at is like who is actually going to be doing the actual maintenance. Obviously, Nathan is saying that, from a financial standpoint, each of the associations will be contributing to providing the funds to make sure that it's maintenance. But what we're likely going to do is St. John Commons, LLC is going to be in charge of course, maintaining the commercial and the live work areas with the same contractors. We're gonna have one contractor that's gonna take care of landscape maintenance. We're gonna have one contractor that's taking care of snow plowing, et cetera. The paired villas area, which is an isolated area by itself, they may choose somebody different, but the same contractors that we're gonna be using in the commercial area will be the contractor that's doing the maintenance of the bike path as well.
I see Sergio found the landscape plans.
Any questions from the Plan Commission?
I have one question.
Yes.
I would like to know what size trees you're going to be putting up in the back where it butts up against the residents' homes. Are they going to be mature trees from the start? Are they going to be little 3-inch and grow for 10 years before they hide anything?
I believe there's a full landscape. There is Sergio L10 sizes, et cetera, details in conformance with the landscape ordinance. The whole schedule is shown on L1.0. It's my understanding in the Hubinger design that the trees meet the landscape ordinance of St. John.
Okay. 8 foot.
Any other questions? Any questions online? Okay, looking for a favorable, unfavorable, or defer St. John Commons proposed rezone to PUD. Sergio, so would we need a variance if we gave a favorable to council, to the town council? Would we need a variance, or not a variance, but I lost the word.
So
For the sign sizes.
it would be identified.
A waiver.
It would be within, no, it's part of the PUD.
Okay.
It's part of the PUD. It's identified as part of the PUD in the signed package. And what they did was they presented that to you this evening on what the changes are
Okay.
as requested at the last meeting. So if it advances as a recommend, whatever the recommendation is to the council, it's identified or clarified within that PUD ordinance.
Okay.
So
So looking for a favorable, unfavorable, or defer.
And just to double check, you did indicate, Mr. Georgiou, that you would be agreeable to not necessarily moving the bike path, but sort of repositioning it a little bit more away from the adjacent residents. I think you did indicate that, right?
Actually, one of our iterations, we even had it in the high tension line easement, but no, we're agreeable to moving it farther north.
Right, okay, yeah, I mean, I understand that, and I think that, they have a point in terms of wanting maybe a little bit more separation, say they're in their backyard or whatnot, so that would make sense.
Yes, to answer it.
I'll make the motion for favorable recommendation to the town council for St. John Commons.
Okay, we have a favorable to the town council for St. John Commons. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Bob Burleson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valois,
Yes.
and Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
5-0, it passes.
Thank you.
Just want to say thank you very much for the year's worth of hearing us here and working out this project for passing it on to the town council. Thank you.
Everybody was here for that,
Yeah.
Next item on the list, Avondale Estates subdivision, proposed final secondary plat at 8656 for a one-lot subdivision.
Good evening, Doug Reddick with DVG, representing Josh Nooner, the owner of the property. Previously, we received primary plat approval. We submitted final plat for review and approval. We've received Ken's review letter. I believe all the fees have been paid, so we're simply here to ask for final plat approval for Avondale Estates.
Any questions? You didn't have to advertise in the paper.
No, this is just final plat.
Any questions for the planning commission? Let me read Ken's letter. We have reviewed the secondary plat for the reference project and have the following comments. This project is to convert an existing unsubdivided lot into a one-lot subdivision on Montfort Drive. Number 2, we have reviewed the plat and find it to be satisfactory. Number 3, the developmental fee for this project is $1,500. Number 4, the public improvements are existing, no letter of credit or a surety bond is required. With that, need a motion to approve, deny, or defer Avondale Estates subdivision.
Make a motion to approve the secondary plat for Avondale Estates subdivision.
I have a motion to approve secondary plat of Avondale Estates subdivision. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valois.
Yes.
And Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
5-0, it passes.
Thank you very much. Sergio will be bringing Mylars to you in the coming days.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Next item, item C, Ravenwood Business Center, Phase 2, lots 8 and 9. Proposed preliminary primary plat for a one-lot subdivision. Sergio, do you have anything to say on this one?
I don't know why the applicant isn't here. At the study session, it was advised that they reconfigure the lots because it appears that they would be leaving a remnant parcel 9 and what the impacts would be for that, and asked that they were asked to either file for a waiver or variance from creating that lot of record. So we haven't had any updates from what was previously submitted, so.
So you recommend defer this?
I would recommend defer. We will follow up with the applicant and get them before a study session.
Okay. Looking for a motion to defer Ravenwood Business Center Phase 2, lots 8 and 9.
I'll make a motion to defer Ravenwood Business Center Phase 2, lots 8 and 9.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valois.
Yes.
And Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
5-0, defer. Next item, item D, Hunter's Run, Phase 1, lots 6 and 7, and Phase 3, lots 24 and 25.
Yeah, hello, Kerry Vandernord with Hillcrest Inc. I believe we're looking to, I think Sergio, you got lots 24 and 25. We're looking to just move the lot lines, basically make them, the one, lot 24 was originally a duplex lot, and lot 25 was a 3-unit lot, and we're looking to make them 3 duplex lots there. And then lots 6 and 7, there were 2 3-unit lots, and we are looking to make those 3 duplex lots also. We've been working kind of with Carl Madsen with the Homeowners Association. Made it clear that we will match the existing units that are there if this gets approved. So pretty much it. I don't know if, Serge, if you had from the study session, how I kind of drew those in.
Yeah, I can pull those back out.
I mean, it just makes it look, I believe it looked a little nice. I mean, kind of made it clear.
I can't hear you guys anymore.
Yeah, they want me to bring up an old plat that showed how the subdivision's actually changing, and I'm just trying to pull that through, Ken.
Yeah, I can't see what you're showing on the screen there in the room. All I got is a big blue circle with PC in the middle.
Oh, that's weird. Not sure why it's not showing the image. I've got the letter that you wrote up, and then the proposed plat right now for Phase 6. So this is probably what you're looking for, Kerry.
Yeah, something, yeah, and I think I had existing and what it would become. Oh, there, maybe right there, kind of. Lot 24 was originally always a duplex lot, but lot 25 was a 3-unit lot, and we're just.
That's what you had before?
Yeah, that's existing, and then.
And then the red markup was what you're looking for?
Yeah, the right above it, we're looking at to make the duplex lots. It looks like the blue.
Wasn't sure.
Blue is existing, and then we are looking to make the right above the blue lettering there, showing like 3 separate lots, I believe. I think that was from last study session. Yeah, that was that's lot 6 and 7. Originally, it's right now a 3-unit lots, and then we were wanting to make it 3 duplex lots. I believe that was from last study session.
Okay.
And then the same with lots. I don't know if you have that.
It's in here.
Somewhere, probably. But I just thought that would be a little bit easier to. Yeah, right. Existing as a duplex and a 3-unit, and then we would like to make those also.
Yeah.
3 duplex lots.
Any questions? Okay, let me read Ken's letter. We have reviewed the primary plat for the reference project and have the following comments. Number 1, Hunter's Run, Phase 6 combines 2 existing R3 lots, 6 and 7, into 3 lots, 6A, 6B, and 7A. Hunter's Run, Phase 5 combines 2 existing R3 lots, 24 and 25, into 3 lots, 24A, 24B, and 25A. We have reviewed the plans prepared by Turinga Surveying LLC dated 12/14/2021 and find them to be satisfactory. The application fee of $1,500 is to be paid prior to Plan Commission primary plat approval. This is public hearing also for this?
Yes.
I'm gonna open it up to public hearing. Anyone want to speak with regards to this that haven't signed up? No, just anybody. I don't want to go through the list. Anybody wants to come up, come on up.
Just one thing, on those 3 lots, the double that you haven't built, in back of those.
Hold on, sir. Please state your name and your address.
Yeah, Don Casper, 9977 Hunter's Run in St. John. We're going to be in the back of those 3 lots that they're going to put 3 duplexes there. I don't know if anybody's addressed the fact that there is a wet area behind that the ducks love to come in there in the spring. I don't know if putting 3 more units in that area is going to raise that.
where there's going to be no place for a runoff in the event we have a pretty good rain. I don't know if anybody's thought about that. I've lived there 20 years, and we've never had anybody in back of us. And I don't know if they've made any arrangements for, that low area. That's just a question.
Okay.
Okay. Might want to look into that. I just don't know if that's going to be a problem or not by adding 3 more units in that section. Something to look at and not have a problem later on. I know that the original developer put trees back there, and the 2 trees in that area are the smallest because there's so much water back there. They're half the size of the original trees that were put in there. So that's my only concern. I don't object to the units being built there. It's just making provisions that, there isn't going to be more of a wet area in that spot. Yeah, in between those 3 units and our houses on the other side of the street. Okay?
Okay.
That's about it, I just don't want a bigger wet area than what's back there now. And, yeah, it does dry up in August, but in the spring, you can't cut the grass back there sometimes. It's so dense with water. Okay. That's it?
Thanks
Sure.
thanks for addressing us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. That's it.
Anyone else want to? Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Apologize for my voice ahead of time. It's Carl Madsen. I'm at 11347 Valley Drive. I think I was here at the October meeting. We just want to state that, we're trying to work closely with Mr. Candiano and the builder, Kerry Vandernoord. So the HOA, we're quite fine with the development. We're satisfied at this point, that Mr. Vandernoord and Candiano have expressed their commitment to following the aesthetics and, following our governing documents, except for it does get a bit wet there, so it'll be interesting to see if that's addressed in any of the drainage plans or whatnot, now that there are going to be buildings there. But that's all we have at this point. We haven't seen any drawings yet. Obviously, they have not been created, so we've got quite a bit of work ahead of us as the plans go forward. So, but we support the development. We're not trying to oppose it, but as long as our concerns are listened to and we have a forum to express them, that's great. That's
Okay.
it.
Anyone else want to speak on? Yes, come on up.
Hi, I'm Marcia Lemire, and I am at 9993 Pheasant Lane in St. John. I am across the street from where they're going to be building. Just interested how long are we going to be putting up with
Ma'am,
construction? Yes.
please address us.
Sorry. I was interested in how long we're going to be putting up with construction and when it's going to start, that sort of thing, since we're right across the street. How it's going to affect us,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, once the public hearing is over, then I'll have him come back up.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Anyone else wants to speak?
My name is Jeff Brandt, 10418 Victoria Court, Munster, Indiana. I was the original developer of this project, and I think it's a great thing that these gentlemen are coming in to finish the development. So I think it's a good thing for the community. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone online wants to make a comment? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Please come up.
To address some of the one issue with the water drainage, basically we'd probably look at the final grading and see what we can do back there for that. If we can alleviate some of that, that would be, we'd try to take care of that. As far as how long, Dan's not here, but he talked about whether we might just put up 2 right away and see how it goes. And we also talked about maybe just building them all out. So it could be a year, it could be just a little bit longer than a year. And then with this COVID and material supply, that's another whole story with getting materials and so forth. But I would say, to be safe, a year to 2 years at the most, So, hopefully not. We would like to just maybe start this spring if, we get the plans drawn and the HOA approval and then get going on that. So, but, we're here to work with, like Carl said, we're here to work with them, and I appreciate Jeff coming up, and yeah, we'd like to just finish the project out, obviously.
Ken, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is that something you probably should look at, the grading, or add another inlet, or if that's possible, or?
Well, they're going to have to submit a plan for when they come in for the building permits. That should have all that stuff on it.
Okay. So that'll be addressed then if we can make it work by grading it.
Yeah, and it's pretty obvious that the land slopes from the front to the back, so, as long as they don't change that, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the rear yard is having issues.
I think it's the other side of the road they're talking about.
Oh, and
Those are the ones on the east side of Pheasant. I think they're talking about the lots on the west side of Pheasant are the ones with the water.
Oh.
Yeah, those.
This size? Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Those other lots on the other side just fall off into the roadside ditch on the side of 41.
The other side?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any questions? No? Okay. Looking for a motion for approval, deny, or defer Hunter's Run Phase 1, Lot 6 and 7, and Phase 3, Lots 24 and 25.
That's phase 5 and 6.
Pardon?
Those are phases 5 and 6, not 1 and 3.
Oh, 5 and 6. Thanks, Kent.
No problem.
Make a motion to approve the primary plat for Hunter's Run, Phase 5, Lots 6 and 7, and Phase 6, Lots 24 and 25.
I have a motion to approve primary plat of Hunter's Run, Phase 5, Lots 6 and 7, and Phase 6, Lots 24 and 25. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valois,
Yes.
Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
5-0 approves.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the list, E, the Continental Unit 2, lots 33 and 34, proposed preliminary primary replat for a one lot subdivision.
Good evening. My name's Jarrett Lekus, owner of Gander Builders. I'm representing my
Wait a
client.
minute. Folks? Thank you. Go ahead.
Good. My name's Jarrett Lekus. I'm the owner of Gander Builders. I'm representing my client tonight. She purchased 2 lots in the Continental subdivision, lot 33 and lot 34. They're side by side, so we're proposing that we re-subdivide and make it 1 lot so that we have a larger lot to centrally locate the eventual house that's going to go on there, allowing more of an estate, lake atmosphere. We're going to be able to put a pool house in the back and hopefully be one of the first houses built in there. So, any questions?
Any questions?
Where is this, John?
Continental, the big subdivision right across from Prairie West.
Gotcha.
Okay, this public hearing, open up to the public. Anybody in the audience wants to speak? Yeah, you never know. Anybody online that may want to comment? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Let me read Ken's letter. We have reviewed the primary plat for the reference project and have the following comments. This subdivision project combines lots 33 and 34 of the Continental Unit 2 into one lot. We have reviewed the plat and find it to be satisfactory. The developmental fee for this project is $1,500 and there are no associated public infrastructure improvements. All the public improvements have been installed as part of the existing subdivision. Need a motion for approve, deny, or defer the Continental Units 2 lots 33 and 34 for primary replat.
Make a motion to approve the preliminary plat for the Continental Unit 2 lots 33 and 34 to combine them into one lot.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Bob Brolson.
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona.
Yes.
John Gill.
Yes.
Bob Belois.
Yes.
Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
5-0. Approval.
Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Item G, amendment to the zoning ordinance.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So you'll, at least four of you will remember from the study session that this was something that the town kind of wanted to bring up. We had an issue where a vape shop were located within our overlay district, and at the time of the creation of the zoning ordinance, I imagine vaping was probably not created or not considered within the town's zoning ordinance. So in order to regulate it, we have to address it and put that language into our zoning ordinance. So Attorney Decker, as he explained at the study session, we created some definitions so that way we can then regulate it and make a place for it within our community, and or regulate it in places where we do not want it.
Okay, any questions?
No.
No. Looking for a motion for favorable to the council, unfavorable, or defer amendment to the zoning ordinance, amendment to Chapter 3, Section E, Schedule of Uses, and Chapter 19, Section B, entitled Definitions.
I'll make a motion for a favorable recommendation for the amendment to the zoning ordinance, proposed amendment to Chapter 3, Section E.
I have a motion for favorable to the council for amendment to the zoning ordinance, Chapter 3, Section E.
Excuse me, we do need a public hearing.
Do we? Oops. Oh.
Last public hearing for the night.
I'm jumping the gun here. Want to open up the public hearing? Anybody out there? Y'all good, Tim?
You're not going to open up any vape shops? Okay.
Mr. Brandt? No. You're good? Anybody online? Want to close the public hearing? Okay, I had a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valois.
Yes.
Jason Blasick.
Yes.
5-0, favorable to the council.
Mr. Chairman, the addition of the next 4 items, they have requested to be deferred to next month. They've submitted their request for maintenance sureties, but they have not arrived yet, so they're not ready to submit that. So essentially, Walden Clearing Phase 3, Summerlin Estates Phase 2, Summerlin Estates Phase 3, and Mill Creek Phase 6. Items H through K on your agenda have requested to defer.
Can we do all that in one shot, or we have to do them individually? Do them all in one shot? Like a motion to defer items H, Walden Clearing Phase 3, Summerlin Estates Phase 2, Summerlin Estates Phase 3, and Mill Creek Phase 6.
I'll make a motion to defer item H, Walden Clearing Phase 3, item I, Summerlin Estates Phase 2, item J, Summerlin Estates Phase 3, and item K, Mill Creek Phase 6 to next month's meeting, per the email request by the developer.
Okay, I have a motion to defer Walden Clearing Phase 3, Summerlin Estates Phase 2, Summerlin Estates Phase 3, Mill Creek Phase 6, per the email request to the next month's meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valois,
Yes.
Jason Blasick.
Yes.
5-0, defer it. Okay, we're down to item L, Martin's Commercial Edition Lot 9.
Good evening. Excuse me. My name is Jeff Brandt, and I'm with Brandt Construction, and I'm here tonight to present a elevation for your consideration for the project that was approved a few months ago. And the elevation that I presented at the hearing a few months ago is changed a little bit because we just didn't have a whole, I didn't have a whole idea what the town wanted. So I've been working with Sergio, and I'm here tonight just to present this elevation to you for your consideration for the development of the retail center. It's at the corner of Parish and Poplar.
Okay, any questions?
Is that in the 231 overlay district?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is initially what was presented, or the idea of the concept that they wanted to go with, and knowing that they would come back and refine it. They've done so. This is a previous structure that they've done. And so they refined the concept or the elevation, and so then they came back and submitted this proposed structure. And we want to bring it before the Plan Commission because it was approved or under a different idea of our elevation, and so we want to present this before the commission to see if we want to advance this proposal.
Did they get any variances from the BZA for the materials not meeting the overlay?
I do not recall that there was a variance for the material itself, and so maybe Mr. Brandt can discuss the material that is being presented versus what was previously presented. It looks like there's a change in the material with regards to the addition of pre-finished HPL panels. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, because your overlay district, I think, calls for masonry, metal, and glass. The last building that I presented was more masonry than there was metal. So this design shows metal, masonry, and glass.
In the high-pressure laminate, that's just going to be like a gray tan tone like on the picture there, or?
Sure.
Because I don't know that high-pressure laminate constitutes metal in the...
Well, it's going to be like a Namichi. Have you seen the product, that metal Namichi product?
Yeah.
The last rendering we had more of some drive-it and masonry. So we basically changed it to show more metal.
So the image that you see on the screen now, and it's also in your packet, is what was previously proposed, the material-wise. And then the first page of what was presented, or in your packet there, this image here is what's being proposed.
I mean, I think personally, for me, I think that I'm not opposed to the HPL, high-pressure laminate, at the top as opposed to the drive-it material that was previously approved, but I don't understand why you didn't keep the same details where just swap the drive-it for the HPL and you reduced the brick and added more HPL. I think that's what's giving me some heartburn.
Well, we're very open to going back to the other the other plan if you'd like that. I just wanted to be upfront and kind of show some ideas. We're very open to whatever the town would like to have there.
I mean, I think personally, my opinion would be keep the same amount of brick as original, and if you wanted to swap the drive-it for the more modern HPL, I think that's, I don't think I'd have a problem with that.
Okay.
So it looks like on the original print, original elevation, the drive-it is mostly on top. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's
there?
like the top band.
This is the rear of the building. It looks like it's drive-it on top there. So possibly then change that to HPL. So if you look at what's being proposed, the rear of the building here looks like, oh, this would be HPL, but it's probably recommending then that just the top be the HPL with the brick as originally laid out.
Yeah,
there.
keep all the same brick as on this picture, and then just switch the non-brick on here to HPL, I think would be.
Okay.
Is that the drive-it going all the way around the back too in that band on this picture?
No, you're seeing in the back, you're just seeing the back of, what you're seeing on the, are you talking about the east elevation?
The one that's on the screen now.
Yeah, the north back exterior. Is that drive-it in that band going around on that right there where the arrow is?
That was, yes.
Oh, okay.
And then this is brick, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? This is a public hearing. Want to open up to the...
This
one's not?
It's not a public hearing.
Oh. Oh, yeah, never mind.
Just kidding.
I'm just up here for informational purposes to make sure that.
Yeah, never mind.
We move forward in the right direction that makes, this board and the community, happy of what we're trying to do.
Okay.
But we can make it a public hearing.
I don't think.
No, we've had enough. Okay, looking for a motion for Martin's Commercial Edition, Lot 9, review of updated building elevation, approve, deny, or defer.
I guess I'll make a motion to approve the change to HPL versus drive it, contingent upon him sticking to the original amount of brick and not reducing the brick. And just substituting HPL for drive it as seen in this diagram.
Okay, I have a motion to approve Martin's Commercial Edition, Lot 9, of updating building elevations, but contingent that the HPL, same amount of masonry, and switch the HPL to drive it, or no, the other way around, drive it to HPL.
Yep.
But keep the same masonry brick amount, same amount. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sergio, roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valois,
Yes.
and Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
Okay, 5-0, approval.
Well, thank you for your time and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Last item on the list, the gates of St. John, Unit 22.
Bookending it.
Thanks for hanging in there.
Absolutely. Before you tonight is the final secondary plat for Unit 22. This is part of the middle part of the Gates East subdivision. Everything's in order. You should have a December 23rd, 2021 letter from Ken Kraus about this project. Everything is in order for the 74 lots that are being final platted. There is a development fee of $15,928.50. And we're required to submit a letter of credit or a surety bond of certain amounts as stated in that letter, but everything else is in order for this one. And I'm sorry, Tim Kuiper, LBL Development.
Yeah. Any questions for Tim? Hearing none. This isn't a public hearing, no. Let me read Ken's letter. We have reviewed the secondary plat for the reference project and have the following comments. Number one, the subdivision includes 74 lots and associated facilities on a total of 25.05 acres. We have reviewed the plat and find it to be satisfactory. Number three, the developmental fee is $15,928.50. This fee is based on 2% of the construction. Number four, the public improvements are not complete. An irrevocable letter of credit should be submitted to the town in the amount of $36,135 to ensure the improvements will be installed, or a surety bond or other method of ensuring the completion of this work is submitted. It should be in the amount of $42,705. With that, I'm looking for a motion to approve, deny, or defer Gates of St. John, Unit 22.
Make a motion to approve the secondary plat for the Gates of St. John, Unit 22.
I have a motion to approve secondary plat, the Gates of St. John, Unit 22. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Robert seconded it. Roll call, please.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
Yolanda Cardona,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Bob Valois, Jason Vlasic.
Yes.
5-0, approval.
Thank you.
Any public comment out there? Doesn't look like it. Yes?
One quick item, just something for you to maybe consider, as you're doing 2 residential lots and then combining them to one, doing that whole subdivision process is kind of burdensome. If somebody wants a bigger lot to make a bigger house, you may want to look at maybe minimizing that process or something, so combining tax key numbers, and then they can build on it or something. Again, some internal review for it, but maybe abbreviating that process so they don't have to go through the full-blown. So, anyway, thank you.
Yep.
Tim Kuiper, 130 North Main Street, Crumpling, Indiana, sorry.
Close public comment. Do I have a motion to,
Motion to adjourn.
so move.
Second, we want to go home.
Second. Shut your mics.